Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining today's webinar. We're really pleased to have you on and spend some time in learning about Actionstep and AML compliance with Vigilance today. My name is Dishra Moses from Actionstep, and by way of background, I've been working with lawyers and legal professionals across Australia, enabling and empowering them with their best legal tech decisions. I'm really excited to have with me Sam McGeorge, the CEO of Vigilance, here with me today. And we're really also pleased to have a mutual customer and AML officer, Melissa Wrightson from Carson Fox.
Thanks, Tisha.
Next slide, please. No worries. Perfect. So for today's agenda, I thought what we'd do was basically take you through a quick intro of our product and platforms with the third-party products like Vigilance, Xero, Office 365 that we integrate with to assist you with interoperability. Also show you around some of our customers, also talk to you about our USP and some of our key features for the first 30 minutes. And we have set aside the last 30 minutes to answer all the questions and would love to hear from you. Now, some of you who are new to Actionstep, I would like to highlight that we are a New Zealand-based legal practice management system with over 10,000 customers worldwide. So that's the Actionstep community today, with a very high customer retention rate of 99.7%. Now, bear in mind, Actionstep provides a lot of flexibility with our customers being able to go open term or annual contracts, so that's 99.7%. And some very above average reviews of our platform, as you could see, that has been derived from Captura, talking about our quality of our platform and our value proposition. Next slide, please. Now, as you can see, we are an all-in-one system to run your entire practice. So from the time you have your client walk in with a comprehensive customer relationship management, to managing your cases or matters, to sending client appointments, to setting up client appointments and sending out emails, to billing and time recording, setting up or sending out your contracts in letters, business accounting, and compliant trust accounting with the New Zealand Law Society, providing that all-in-one practice management space for you. Next slide, please. We also integrate with third-party products as well. Some of the key products in New Zealand, we find some of our customers use our Vigilance for AML, which is a seamless integration, which we'll be taking you through in a bit. Office 365, no surprises. Office 365 has had seen significant and a very rapid adoption in the business world. Xero for accounting as well, and a few other products in the market. Next slide. And these are some of our current customers who use Actionstep today. So Actionstep is used by law firms, and that is basically what the product is designed for. So we have DTR lawyers, Webster Malcolm, Norling Law, who've been with us for a long time, and we've been servicing New Zealand firms for over 15 years. But we're also used by case management or for case management by a number of non-legal organizations, as you could see, signature homes, and because of our robust security, are also used for case management by a number of government departments as well across New Zealand and Australia. Next slide. Now, what makes us different? Now, on the surface, we all look like we provide a lot of value benefits, and we might all seem the same. So I'd like to show you how we're different. Now, post-COVID, we've experienced a lot of firms who are looking more than ever to be efficient, and not just driving automation through automated and pre-populated letters and contracts, but also automation in basically driving customer engagement. Also automating your business processes. So that could be through sending out emails to your customers at the right times for matters, or during specific times during the matters through our powerful workflow technology, which can be a real game changer and has been a real game changer for a number of our customers. Also customization. Now, how does that apply in this current climate of post-COVID? Now, we recognize that no two firms are the same, and they don't have to be the same. They all have different business processes and their own style of working. Now, how that applies into Actionstep is we onboard new and interesting firms into our platform is basically bringing in their business processes into the system, helping them drive automation with letters and contracts and business processes, also helping them get more out of their data in the Actionstep system through custom reports, about built-in 100+ reports as well, workflows, and a number of built-in dashboards. Now, it's easy to basically show practice management systems, but we like to make it easier for you to bring and optimize your business processes as well into the system. And collaboration. Now, as you employ more and more staff, and you could be a startup on Actionstep, or be a 200 or 300 user firm, it is fairly easy with an Actionstep for you to allocate workload, for you to also look at the workload and see how that's being worked across your organization. And an Actionstep would never seem to outgrow your practice. We're continuously improving our platform, and through our powerful workflow technology, which is basically your business processes for your legal and non-legal work, allowing you to focus on the very high-value activities such as servicing your clients. Now, flexibility. Now, I think this is a big one that firms need to think about. We're now working or living in an environment post-COVID that a majority of us are working from home. Like a lot of us today, like Sam and myself, and a number of lawyers. Now, how are you servicing and thinking about future-proofing, and I'd say even the present, servicing your employees? Now, Actionstep provides the perfect platform for you to being able to use our system not only on a Mac or a PC, but tablet, mobile, Android, iPhones, anywhere, allowing you to work from anywhere, anytime, with no fixed term contracts. Next slide, please. Now, while I'd like to think of Actionstep as an all-in-one system, I'd like to think of Actionstep beyond your typical legal practice management system, and I'll tell you why. We like to think of Actionstep as a business management application that you can use to run your entire practice all within our platform. And how do we help you achieve that? So I guess if you think about the mundane matter and document management and the reporting that you would need, I'd like you to think about your business development, client prospecting, getting to customers and inquiries faster. So we have a feature called, for instance, web form, which is the features you see on the right, extreme right, the second last option there, where we give you the ability to integrate your website to Actionstep. Now, you don't have to wait for another 24, 48 hours to respond to your prospects. Inquiries and new business inquiries are really important for your organization, so let us help you get to those inquiries faster. We have a feature called Client Portal. You can think of it as a glorified Dropbox, which will help you drive high levels of engagement with your clients through instant messaging and also document sharing and collaboration with a very high level of security, of data security. As mentioned, Actionstep is already used by a number of government departments across Australia and New Zealand, so security is vital for us, with an all-in-one practice management system that would integrate with Microsoft Office, Xero, and any other third-party products, even like Vigilance for AML that you might be considering. Next slide, please. Now, I'd like to take you through just a very quick tour of our latest Outlook Office 365 integration. And the reason why we think this is really significant is the rapid and the very, very high adoption of Office 365 across the business world that we're seeing. And also with a theme that we noticed based on a lot of research that we've done, we realized that as lawyers, you spend a lot of time on Outlook. So what was the next best thing we could do? We could bring Actionstep to Outlook. So we basically live where you live, and that's an Outlook. So in this instance here, as you can see, this is an image of Outlook, as you can see on your cell phone, wherein we bring in all your critical metadata in your pocket. So over here, as you could see all your critical metadata and keep it updated in real time. Over here, you could see a live matter. You can access your key billables, the last communication in terms of your file notes, who were the participants, a very key high-level matter overview, and you can also update your new and existing clients or contacts within that matter. File emails. Also, we've taken this a step further where you can also generate emails using the templates that you may have in Actionstep, and also accessing documents and contracts in your matter to send out of Actionstep. So we're really going to we are working towards a theme with releases almost every month on Office 365, where we want to bridge and bring Actionstep to Outlook, to the whole Office 365 suite, so you don't have to switch between systems. You'd also be able to key new things like new tasks, allocate workload to other staff or yourself using the assign tasks option. You'd also be able to track time or assign time entries. And what's really amazing, and I'd say also unique in this space, is that we are the only practice management system that provides this service both on Windows and a Mac. It just needs to be a Windows 7 device and above, and it's all on desktop and mobile. Next slide, please. Furthermore, we go where you go. It's really important that you're able to service your clients from anywhere, anytime, without any disruption. So Actionstep is 100% cloud-based, whether you're on an ADSL or a fiber-based connection. We work on any browser. These are some of the major ones that we work very optimally with, and on any system: Windows, Mac, PC, tablet, iPad. So it's really helping you prepare and work with the future of law. Next slide, please. Now, I would like to introduce you to Sam, who would take you through and talk you through Vigilance, and basically be taking you through our journey with Carson Fox with Melissa. Thanks, Sam. Over to you.
Thanks, Nisha. Hi, everybody. So I'll just start by giving a bit of background on Vigilance as a company. So Vigilance, we're digital crime fighters. We've been in the market since 2014, entering the market with a fraud detection product. We have solutions that are trusted by companies, virtually in every sector, and of all business sizes, from SMEs to listed and government entities, using our products. In 2017, we were asked to look at the AML compliance that were coming for phase 2 reporting entities, and we realised we could develop quite a good application on our existing technology stack. So that's exactly what we did, and we did that in collaboration with or consultation with the DIA, FIU. Also, phase 1 auditors for phase 2 had to come in to make sure that we'd built a platform that was fit for purpose. And our goal is pretty simple. It's about streamlining the arduous workload of the AML auditing has brought to reporting entities, and we do this through smart technology, streamlining a whole bunch of manual processes all in one application. And the goal is to make sure that our customers are audit ready and can get there faster and minimise the workload. Next slide, Matt. Okay, so just like Actionstep, we have plugin partners as well, specifically around our area of expertise, which is AML compliance, and starting with GoAML. So you'll all know who they are, and our platform Vigilance plugs into GoAML to streamline the transaction monitoring and uploading of PTRs very, very quickly. So it slashes that process significantly. Actionstep, of course. So being able to integrate to Actionstep just enhances their customers' AML processes with Vigilance alongside, dovetailing nicely into Actionstep. ASB Bank, we integrate very tightly with ASB Bank for getting bank feeds to come into one part of the program, so you can do that transaction monitoring. We certainly work with other banks as well, so you can bring any major banks' bank statements in for your trust accounts into Vigilance. We integrate to the company's office, and a very important partner of Centrix, so you can do electronic ID checks through Centrix within Vigilance, so you don't have to leave the application, and all the results come back nicely and tied against the client record. And we're on the Microsoft platform, cloud infrastructure, so they're a very important partner of ours, and particularly around tier 1 security with our cloud-based product. Okay, Matt. Now, I'm just going to bring Melissa Wrightson in from Carson Fox Legal. Melissa is both a Vigilance user and an Actionstep user, and certainly one of the earliest customers that adopted Vigilance to enhance the AML process. And I thought I'd just maybe, Melissa, get you to start by just telling us a bit about who Carson Fox is, type of business you do, and then we can roll into how you've experienced the AML journey and how you've enhanced it in your business with both Actionstep and Vigilance.
Thanks, Sam. Carson Fox is a boutique law firm of 17. The firm delivers specialised business and property law services. I've worked here since April 2018 as the accountant and AML compliance officer. When the AML CFT Act came into effect for Phase 2 reporting entities back in 2018, we first needed to understand the requirements of the Act and how it applies to the business. When putting together the compliance program procedures, it was quickly evident that we needed to develop a process that would cut through all the manual workload. Carson Fox Legal was already a customer of Actionstep, as mentioned, but also worked with Vigilance for the AML compliance purposes. My vision when introducing the two was to use what we have in Actionstep and integrate with a complete AML product, i.e. Vigilance. Sam, would you like to speak on what Vigilance offers and how it integrates with Actionstep?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you probably know the product better than we do because you're using both of them together, and we'll have a look at some screenshots in a minute for the benefit of the viewers today. But yeah, Actionstep and Vigilance integrate very tightly, and the piece that Vigilance does is all the AML compliance. So we're basically a one-stop shop. Just want to go to the next slide there, Matt. Cheers. So everything in the life cycle of a customer is all processed through Vigilance, and we pull the customers across and push information back to Actionstep. So all the tools you need to perform AML compliance is all done in Vigilance in one place, and that becomes really important from an auditing perspective because everything's in one place. So that's risk assessment. All of those are uploaded into Vigilance, stored there, and along with a whole bunch of other features we're going to talk about. That push-pull integration is just, it really enhances the process for Actionstep users because, as I think Melissa was going to tell us in a minute, it's really good for those in the business that are not using the day-to-day compliance tool Vigilance, but they need to know where customers are in terms of their AML compliance. So next slide, I think. Cheers. So here's a screenshot, a piece of the customer area of Actionstep, for those who are not familiar. And then on the right-hand side, we've got Vigilance AML performing all the AML processes and workflow. Now, Melissa, I think I'll hand it back to you on this next slide so you can sort of talk about how you experience enhancing your process around AML with the integration between Actionstep and Vigilance. Next slide there.
Thanks,
Cool.
Sam. Yeah, so as you can see on the right, Aaron has a green tick, which shows that there's a lot behind that green tick, that is CDD or EDD verification. But once that's complete, that information is pushed into Actionstep and it shows a 100% result there next to his name. So when somebody is working on that file, they can see at a glance that they can continue working with that client and be AML compliant. As you can see next to Moana, is like a green and red donut next to her name, and that gets pushed through to Actionstep to show 75%. What that means is that would need more information, for example, address verification to be compliant. We can go into further detail about what each of the percentages mean in detail later, but it's simply the progress status on the client's CDD. Next slide, Matt. So that goes into what are the benefits of this integration. And Sam, if it's okay if I just speak on efficiency around the system. So as mentioned before, there's this visibility regarding AML status for each client. This means that there's no digging around through file documents or logging into another system to see if it's been completed or not. This is especially useful when files are handed over within the team. Any incomplete CDD or EDD checks are easily reported on, so the AML compliance officer can focus their time on those rather than data entry or checking everything. PTRs can be processed in a timely manner using Vigilance as they are integrated with AML. You can create your annual report using the transactional data from the bank feeds at a click of a button. For example, I could actually do my annual report within the next week. You can verify your client ID, passport, driver's license, addresses via Centrix upon consent in Vigilance. This is approximately $7 per individual with no monthly minimum, which is a better value than outsourcing completely. These efficiencies are to improve the customer experience and therefore protect your, or in our case, our professional image. It's a lot less embarrassing if AML requirements are sought once and at the beginning of the business relationship. For example, there's no assuming that's been done just to find that you need some information, CDD information, later during the settlement. Sam, would you like to speak on safe and secure storage?
Yeah, I'll do the boring part. So safety and security, that's critical, you know, keeping data stored safely. And as I said before, Vigilance is built on the Microsoft cloud infrastructure. But above that, we have a bunch of compliances in our industry to make sure that our product is fit for purpose from a security perspective. It's actually part of the AML CFT legislation that you have to have a safe and secure storage, particularly holding customer-sensitive information like their identities, absolutely critical. So without boring everybody with the detail around which standards we meet, certainly GDPR, PCI compliance, long and short of it is we wouldn't be able to have partners of the like government or banks if they hadn't done the due diligence on us to find out that we have met a bunch of compliance. The benefit for our users on that, importantly, is that we mitigate a whole bunch of your own need to have high security standards within your organization because it comes with a package, just as it does with other cloud solutions like Actionstep. We have very tight security standards to meet, and so our customers benefit from that, obviously. In terms of compliance, maybe you talk to that, Melissa?
Yep. For completeness, meta risk assessments sit within Actionstep as the system has all the meta information. So, for example, what you're doing for the client. This can, meta risk assessments can be set up using custom data fields and generate a report using custom list views. The report will show all the meta risk assessment data and the CDD status. So this reduces the chance of clients being missed. Vigilance stores all that is required for compliance, including a training register, compliance program, risk assessment, audit reports, and activity logs. This meets the requirements for record keeping. Alerts can be set up for ongoing account monitoring. Vigilance helps maintain privacy for clients as auditors can remote into Vigilance. They won't have access to client privileged information whilst not being restricted to do their job. Being an AML compliance officer and the accountant for the firm is an isolated role. Having a system that can lighten the burden of firm and personal risk from AML non-compliance is one huge benefit, but also the team at Vigilance to talk to has been very valuable to me. He acknowledged that collaboration is key to finding solutions, and this integration with Vigilance and Actionstep can help many others comply efficiently and in turn contribute to the main purpose of the Act. Sam, would you like to wrap it up?
Yeah, so thanks, Melissa. That's right. I mean, our goal is to make sure that all of our customers are audit ready. We can't do the magic stuff, and we can only provide the tools for our customers to streamline their compliance processes. And we recognise that it's a huge task. It's a major burden on all firms, regardless of size. And as we built the solution, it meets all those criteria. So basically, everything is done in one spot. Now, I'm picking that a bunch of viewers today either been audited or certainly should be audited by now. And that audit readiness is super important because, of course, your supervisor can knock on your door at any day and ask for evidence of your record keeping around AML. And if you're using Vigilance, it's click of a button to be able to demonstrate. In fact, they don't even have to knock on your door. They can remote log in. And we know that auditors are finding this extremely helpful. And of course, it drives the cost down, doesn't it, Melissa? If you've got all the information in one place, the auditors don't have to shuffle around looking for information across fragmented systems. So yeah, audit ready is really important, and we have a whole bunch of audit partners. We're not auditors or consultants ourselves, but we do have a deep knowledge, and our focus is to make sure our customers are meeting their compliance obligations in a much more streamlined way. So I think we're moving on to Q&A now. If anybody's got some questions, I think Matt's going to run through a few of those for us.
Yeah, you could type in your questions, or Matt, do you want to unmute people as well? Not sure. See if they want to ask any questions.
Yeah, if anyone wants to raise their hand, I can unmute you and you can ask your question.
Okay.
I've got a question from a previous one about, is there any price related to the integration between Actionstep and AML and VigilanceAML?
The integration is free.
Yeah, the integration is free. Yep.
Great.
Any other questions?
Nothing yet from my end, sorry.
Okay.
So often.
Matt, oh, sorry, no, you go, Sam.
Sorry,
any questions? No, any questions that you frequently have that you get asked, considering this AML webinar?
AML, as Melissa will testify to, is you can get into some rabbit holes. There's some very tricky areas of AML in terms of how do you execute ultimate beneficial ownership, a whole bunch of stuff. And this webinar is not about that per se, but it's that kind of knowledge that we can share for our users and help them configure our platform to make sure that they can streamline those processes and be in sync with their own risk assessment and compliance program, which is really critical. So we work closely with a bunch of auditors, and we learn from the auditors where businesses are weak, and we use the word delinquent, sometimes really out of step. But we also see a lot of firms when they adopt Vigilance, they're doing unnecessary compliance, which you want to avoid. Is that fair to say, Melissa?
Yeah. You know, you don't want to be doing CDD on somebody more than what is required. And usually just up front at the beginning of establishing a relationship, business relationship, that's when you want to do it. And then you're not having to bother that client again.
Yeah, that's right. And ongoing CDD is really important now. So we're 2 years down the track for law firms. They're all facing an audit to be completed by the end of this month, and then end of August, the annual report has to be submitted to the DIA. And one of the questions that will be asked on that is, have you had your audit? And and it's about making sure that you can say yes on that, and it's less about whether you fail the audit or not. In fact, I don't think fail is the right word. I doubt that many firms will be 100%. An audit should be about making sure that you're on the right track. You've got systems in place, and that's certainly why we see people adopting Vigilance, so they can capture the entire workflow and make sure that they're compliant. So that comes back to being audit ready 24/7.
That's great. That's really good to know, Sam.
We've got a question that just came in. Will there be any training sessions to get Vigilance AML started, and any ongoing support that may be required?
Yeah, good question. Absolutely. A couple of important things. One, there's no contract with Vigilance. If you don't like us, don't use us. So we stand on our own good name and product. In fact, we don't have churn with our customers, a bit like Actionstep. And training is critical. We see that as absolutely critical right up front. And so when we onboard a customer, we make sure that you get the appropriate training. After your initial training, support is free. As I said before, our goal is to, when I talk to the DIA, I tell them that our goal is to lift the class average to make sure that New Zealand Inc. is compliant to AML. And it's about how to do that smart and mitigate a whole lot of the labour intensive elements to compliance, because it's a huge burden. Everybody knows it, but there's a lot of stuff that can be streamlined to make that burden a lot less painful, so you can focus on your revenue producing activities in the business as opposed to another piece of compliance that you have to comply to.
I can add to that too, Sam, from being a customer of yours. That, you know, when we jumped on board with Vigilance, there was good training and support. As I said before, it's really useful when you're on your own, and often AML compliance officers are. So yes, you get training, and you well and truly are made sure of how to use the system.
Yeah, it's absolutely critical. We get our customers off to a good start, and we're there for them when they need us. Then they're going to be happy users and most importantly, compliant. I mean, we don't want our customers failing their audits or being hugely delinquent in their compliance, because that doesn't look good for us either. So that support's critical, and we often see businesses not knowing necessarily where to start, or they're duplicating processes unnecessarily, and we can streamline all of that as part of our onboarding. Yeah, we actually sit in quite a unique place in the AML ecosystem. We talk to everybody. We've got more than just law firms using. We've got even cryptocurrencies exchanges using Vigilance. So in phase 1 entities as well. So we see all the different pain points, and the workflow is very different. Even in phase 2 entities, a law firm will operate differently than an accountant or real estate. But fundamentally, it's the same act, and you have to comply that across your business.
So we've got another question that's come in. As an old user of Actionstep and a new adopter of Vigilance, I understand that there's to be an integration with RealMe. Can you advise on the timing of this and how it will work?
Okay. Yeah, so a couple of things there. One, we are always looking for better ways to improve the processes and be agile in that regard. So we choose our plugin partners very carefully. Biometrics is problematic in the market, and we know that RealMe have got a product that does biometrics, and in fact it's the only biometric solution that they accept under the Act. And so we are in communication with them at the moment to integrate to RealMe Verify, which is actually very cool biometrics tool. The upshot of that will be that it'll streamline the onboarding process even more so. The first part of that is we're about to release a self-onboarding product. so that you can invite your customers to onboard themselves. Even if they're overseas, they can upload the appropriate information. So depending on what country they're in, they're asked the right information. And that is all sucked back into Vigilance against that client record, even streamlining that process. In terms of RealMe Verify, I can't talk much about that at the moment, other than we are working with RealMe to utilise that solution. I can't put a date on it because it's a government department, but I know they're putting quite a bit of commitment around that, and we're in the front seat to benefit from that for our customers. So can't give you timing on that. We have been given a time frame. I'm not going to share that because we'll be held to it, and it's less about us, it's more about RealMe making sure they can provide that integration for us. But it's very sexy, it's very slick, and it's actually been brought forward because of COVID-19 environment. There is more and more non-face-to-face engagement with customers, and so I know that that's pretty hot at the moment in terms of how do you really improve that process. And the first step is this self-onboarding feature we're about to release, and then that'll be enhanced further with some other cool features around onboarding.
Excellent. Well, that looks like all the questions we've got so far. Sam and Disha, do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, sure. So I guess in that last slide, there are our contact details. Guys, if you did wish to get in touch with us, we'll also be sending you out a quick email with our details and a copy of the webinar that you can request for if you wanted to revisit this, or some of you who were late. And we'd be happy to, again, provide further information or a further consultation with you to give you more product information and, I guess, best practice tips and tricks. So yeah, expect to hear from us. So thank you so much for attending today's webinar. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Sam?
No, just thanks very much, and don't hesitate to make contact with us. We can take you through more detail of our respective products and how they integrate, and most importantly, really streamline that whole AML compliance process. So feel free to contact us, details below, or you'll find us on the web, and we're happy to answer any more questions that you may want to ask offline.
Thanks, Sam, and thanks, Melissa, for your time, and everybody else who's joined us in this webinar. Please feel free to spread the word if anyone is looking for, in your legal sector, looking for a cloud-based legal practice management system which integrates to an AML compliance software like Vigilance. So we really did want to share the story of ours with yourselves and Carson Fox. So thank you again for joining, and we will be in touch. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.